really gravitating towards, that's a word I can't say. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you some of my favorite palettes for winter, or at least some of the color stories that I'm really gravitating towards right now. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Colin. I am a non-binary Latinx scientist and lover of makeup with a soft spot for indie makeup and colorful makeup, and I have new videos every week, so I'd love to have you subscribe. So I grabbed a decent number of palettes. I tried to grab both affordable and some more high-end palettes, and you don't necessarily have to have any of these palettes. I'm not saying go out and buy these, but these are the colors that I'm really gravitating towards, and you might have these, and some of them you might not have reached for in a while. So if you have them already or something similar, this is the best time to grab for these. And I don't necessarily wear seasonal makeup. Like, I will wear an orange blush all year. It doesn't have to be a summer thing for me, but there are, like, the weather, the lack of sunlight right now, the dampness here in Seattle definitely makes me gravitate towards certain tones over others. In any order, and these are not in any order or anything, but I will say first what I have on my eyes today is the Pat McGrath Mothership No. 1 Subliminal. So I actually have used this a couple times now. I just got it a couple days ago. I used it yesterday and today. This video might already be up where I did this look. If it is, I will link it there. But this is the Subliminal palette. It's cool tones and blues. It's beautiful. So this is exactly what I'm wanting to reach for right now. This is like my perfect January palette, which is why I bought it. So today I used these two mattes, the blue shimmer, this is my inner corner, and then I have these two on my lid. I used Blitz Blue, and then I tapped a little bit of this on top. And I really love this. Yesterday I wore the more purple satin shade, beautiful. Then like this cool toned taupey bronze shade, taupe shade. This is what I'm wanting to wear on it, like a quick one and done kind of day where I'm like, I'm tired, but I want to wear something. This or the purpley one all over the lid, blended the edges out a little bit, use a little bit of the Skin Show Nude shade on my inner corner, mascara, call it a day. Yesterday I didn't even wear mascara because if you watch that video, you see it didn't go very well. But, and then like this pale gold, like this is what I want to reach for right now the most, and I'm really happy I finally have this. So sticking with very cool tones, I wanted to mention the Sydney Grace. So sticking with the cool tone theme, I wanted to mention the Sydney Grace Temptalia Quintessence palette. So I think all three of these were good any time of the year. I feel like spring and fall is best for the On the Horizon one. And I could have thrown in the jewel tone one, but this is such a beautiful cool tone color story. So I have the deep version because these two shades look kind of gray and ashy to me. And I'm that medium olive range where some of those gray tones just do not work. But this is beautiful. You've got a black, you've got this really deep teal here, you've got two transition shades. This one's a little darker. This is the one like true transition shade, for me at least. And then you've got these beautiful like green blues, you've got this really pretty berry tone. This My Constellation shade is so pretty, and then this Milky Way one, spelled like her last name, so pretty, this duochrome. I love this. I think this is the perfect palette to grab this time of year if you've got the collection, because this came out in like the summer, and this didn't feel like a summer palette. This definitely is a winter palette. And then the next palette also came out a little bit before my body wanted those tones, and that is the Giant Wolves palette from Annette's Makeup Corner and Odens Eye. This is kind of fall, kind of winter. It feels a little more winter to me. This came out this last fall. It is currently out of stock, discontinued because it was a limited edition collaboration. But if you're one of the many people that grabbed it, I highly recommend pulling it out. Especially like January seemed like the best time of year to use this. You've got blues You've got this beautiful multi-chrome right here. You've got these really pretty greens and this gold shade. It's such a versatile palette. This is so well curated. This is one of my favorite palettes of 2021. And this is the perfect, this like murky, damp, at least here in Seattle, this like murky, damp gray weather just makes me want these tones. So an affordable palette that I think a lot of people might have or something similar to it is the BH Cosmetics Sapphire palette. So I only got 2 of the Birthstone palettes that they did this last year. Sapphire because it's mine, and then I did the Peridot because I just like the colors. And I really like this. I think the quality is really great for the price. I don't really have much BH. I have 3 BH palettes and I really want to try more. I just keep not doing it. I keep buying something else instead. But again, you've got blue, purples. I'm wearing blue. Blue is my favorite color, so anything with blue year round is going to speak to me. But this like deep blue really calls to me right now. If I had it, I would also recommend the Passion in Paris palette. I think that is a perfect January, February palette. I just don't have that one, but the color story, perfect. And then another newer palette that I've used this now 4 times, and I love it, and is the Nars Climax palette. So this is sold out. It is limited edition. I don't know if it'll be restocked again. I got it when it restocked a couple weeks ago, and I used it every day for a few days, and then I've ice swatched the other shades as well, and it is so pretty. It is earthy, so it does have a blue, and it's got an olive green, which I love, but it just feels very earthy and grounded, but it's deep and earthy, and kind of muted, which is what I want this time of year. Like I said, it's wet here. Today it's actually pretty clear, but that like earthy, muted tones, especially after the vibrancy of the holidays, is really what I want. And this does have some beautiful shimmers to really add that sparkle when it's dark out. Another limited edition palette that is still available is the Triumph of Venus palette. And this is from, I think it's pronounced Kailav Beauty, formerly Muse Beauty. This came out in the spring. No, it didn't. It came out in the fall. I'm way off. This came out in the fall. This was one of the first videos I did. And I really love this. Again, you've got blues, but you've got this really beautiful, like dark charcoal shade, and then you've got this really beautiful storm shimmer. So if you wanted to do a neutral look, this is such a pretty like gray brown. Let's see if I can swatch it right there. Yeah, you can see it's a really pretty gray brown. It's creamy enough that if you used like your bronzer or something to just put on your crease and then used that, you can have a really pretty cool toned basically one and done shade and look. So this is limited edition, but it is still in stock, so I highly recommend checking it out. Their formula is really nice. The mattes are really easy to work with, but still pretty pigmented. The shimmers, they're not like super sparkly or anything, like they're not crazy special indie shimmers, but they're solid, good, beautiful shimmers. So highly recommend this. I think this is only like $25 too. It's not that badly priced. So it wouldn't be a favorites video with me without mentioning Nomad Cosmetics. They're one of my favorite brands. And this is their winter palette from last year. This is their Iceland palette. This was on sale for Black Friday and the holidays. And if you grabbed it, I really think this is the perfect time to start using it. They did just start sneak peeking their next palette. I think it launches on the 25th. Today is the 14th. I don't know when this will actually go up, but it'll be up before that. They've released 3 shades so far, and it looks like it's gonna be a nice winter themed palette, like snowy ski kind of theme. So if that like a snowy winter skiing theme, and I think it's gonna be a great continuation, and I think it's gonna be a great addition to their collection. I love this palette. This is one of my favorite palettes of all time, and my favorite palette from them. It's got these beautiful blues, but they're really icy and unique blues, especially these shimmers, and then this like earthy olive shade. It's like olive gray, one of my favorites. And then you've got some like nice sparkly duochromes over here. I think this is wonderful, and I will always recommend this. And then sticking with Nomad, I also have to mention their Haunted Europe palette. This was in my favorites of 2021. It was also in my like fall favorites. It came out in the fall, and I think it's a good fall and winter palette because it's got both of those tones. You've got, I feel like it's like the fall palette and the winter palette put together. So you've got like orange, green, and gold, feels very fall autumnal. And then you've got gray, blue, this like dried blood shade, cranberry purple. This feels very wintry. This green feels very wintry. It's like winter, fall. And I just think this is one of their best palettes. The formula is better. Like they always have a good formula, but this is even better. The shimmers in this are beautiful. Highly, highly recommend this. And I will say this is the one item in here that I didn't pay for. This I got in PR. So sticking with indie shadows, I did want to mention two from Sigil Inspired. So even if you don't have these exact palettes, because not a lot of people do, the colors might inspire you. So this is the Lavender Chinchilla palette. I have the mini, so it's very cute and little, but you can see it's got like a gray mauve, a nice neutral mauve, like a gray mauve, a pink mauve, a nice vibrant purple, and then these really beautiful shimmers. And it's cool toned, it's purple, but you've got like some special shades in here. This is a duochrome that's like blue, purple, and gray. So special. I feel like there's definitely some affordable brands like Colourpop that have like cool tone purple palettes like this, like the Mauve palette from Colourpop. I decluttered it because it was a little too light for me. It didn't work on my skin tone very well, but similar idea. So if you are a little more fair, so if you are a little more pale than me, there's a lot of options out there that are like cool tone purple, and I think a palette like this that's like a little neutral and a little purple is a nice way to experiment with purple eyeshadow. And I also had to mention their Wind Rose palette. So this you can buy as one big palette or two small ones. I have the big one, and you can see why I had to bring this up. It's got this really beautiful wine shade. It's got a gray, it's got this like taupey pink, and then it's just got really interesting shimmers. So this is a palette I'm gonna be reaching for a lot the next month. Like I feel like these are my top two right now, followed by Annette's palette. But you can see you can go neutral, you can go kind of colorful. You've got a multi-chrome here that's like, this is green to magenta. Like I'm just seeing straight magenta, but you're seeing green. So I think if you have something similar to this, this is the perfect time to grab for it. And then back to affordable palettes. I think Colourpop has a lot of palettes that are good for this time of year. I really like Colourpop, although they churn out way too much and a lot of their palettes are made for pale people. I'm not even that dark, I'm medium, right in the middle. And even I struggle with a lot of their palettes where like half the shades I just can't use. And if there's like 3 pale shades that look horrible on me out of a 12 pan, like I'm just not gonna use that, and I've given a lot of those away. But I do have a few here. So the original Hocus Pocus palette, this was recently back in stock. Most people would say this is a fall palette. I'd say it's both. You've got neutrals, you've got berries, you've got a really dark olive green. I think this is a really nice palette for both fall and winter. And if you have it, especially like, I feel like experimenting with these shades, if you don't, this is the perfect time for that. And if you're scared to wear dark colors like this, I think the easiest thing to do is do this as a wing liner. Like just draw it as a wing, and that adds that like bit of color and fun without being like an overly complicated look. Like you could easily do one of these lighter shades in your crease, one of these as a liner, call it a day. And then two newer palettes from Colourpop that came out I think in the fall, but don't feel very timely right now, are the Fine Feathered and High Tide. So the High Tide palette, I love the packaging of these, by the way. This is their best packaging, the cardboard with like texture. Blues, teals, it's what I want to wear this time of year. This is also a nice summer palette to me because you've got some brighter light shades, but you've got some really dark ones down here, like this dark blue shimmer, so good, and would just look so nice this time of year, well, any time of year, but especially right now. And Fine Feathered is these like berry tones, and I know this is what a lot of people want to wear this time of year. Not everybody's a blue fan like I am, and so this is a nice, safer option for this time of year. Kind of romantic. Valentine's Day is next month, so you've got that little bit of pink in there. I think this is a really nice choice, and these are really affordable. Okay, so I've got two brands to mention last. This one, I don't know, I recommend this at full price, but I definitely recommend it on any kind of a sale. And that is the Melt Holiday palette from this year. This is at Sephora now, so if it's still around and in stock when they do their next sale, highly recommend checking it out. Or if Melt does another sale themselves, because you know, I got this for like 20-something% off, 30% off right after it came out. But this, I have a whole video dedicated to this. I love this palette, but the reason it makes me think, you know, this is kind of a year-round palette for me, but the thing that makes me think winter is this bottom row, these really dark red, purple shades. This Jarro shade is so pretty. Green also makes me think of winter. There's a lot of evergreens here, Christmas trees, you know, Christmas is right at the start of technical winter, right after the solstice. So like, I think this was timed very well for its release around Black Friday and the holidays, and I think the quality in this is exceptional. These mattes are the most pigmented, but the most blendable mattes I've ever used. And the last brand that I want to mention is Natasha Denona. And I think two palettes in particular are high on my list right now and what I want to use, and that's Retro and Glam. I think these are really nice companion palettes. I actually will be doing a video on Retro soon because I finally got it after Christmas. But if you look, they're her two cool tone palettes. She tends to go more warm and bronze and gold, kind of like Pat. But these are both just beautiful. I don't love the naming scheme of this one, but I think these are really nice to work together. I've used this a lot lately and I really like it. And I think these work well together because this is cool, neutral, like neutral leaning cool, but you've got a lot of, the metallics in here are special. They're really sparkly metallics. And this has more of those plummy tones and berry tones. And the metallics here in general are a little more subdued. So by pairing it with this, you get some more of that sparkle, and you can see there's pink tones in here, and I think silver, I mean, you have kind of a cool toned taupey shade here, so I don't think it's far off to reach for some of these shimmers in your look. So if you have these, I'm sure you're already using them a lot right now, but if you haven't already, I highly recommend combining these two. Okay, so those were some of my favorite palettes for the winter. It's, you know, January 14th. This will probably go up next week. Some people might already be ready for spring. I know spring collections are already coming out, but at least here in Seattle and the northern part of the United States, it's gonna be winter until April. So there's still a few months to get some use out of these cool tones, and I will be using all of it. I wear cool tones all year, but like, this is when I really want to. So let me know what you think of my picks, and if you have any of these or what your favorite winter palettes are in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.